I guess we'll talk after. At one point, I think in order for my live to show up, I'll have to be a co-host.
Okay, we'll work on that next.
To be a smooth live, not live from my phone, which I don't want to do that anymore.
Okay, we'll work on that
the picture's
next.
not as clear. No rush. As long as you're
That's the
live.
next project for the North Carolina ENT students.
You know more people than I do. Let's see if I can pick up your live on my phone here.
Okay.
And see the comments.
Jovonne looks so pretty this morning. My goodness, so early in the morning.
So pretty. You always look so pretty.
Goodness. You too, Colonel.
Jovonne, you in the office?
Yeah, I'm up here at my center. Wanted to start fresh here today, so.
Oh, okay. You usually in there this early?
No, sir. No, sir. You'll never catch me this early. Now, I'm awake, but just not out the house.
You could have done it from your bed?
No. I would have dozed off a little bit. So.
You know, get on.
Well, on today, I want you to know we have our 7 Cities Forum for you on this morning with Dr. James Slim Overton. And guess what? Colonel Thomas Chapman. And we have, oh man, I rehearsed this last night. And we have the Queen, Lady Leah, on this morning. So guess what? Yep, it is coffee talk with them. So maybe we should change the name to 2 Kings and a Queen.
Oh, Bishop.
I want you to know today, I'm so happy to have them on the line on this morning. Before I put them on, let's have a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for this day that you have made. And so we will rejoice and be glad in it. Father, we thank you because we understand that it is because of you that we have risen on this morning. Now, Father, I pray that you will anoint my brothers and my sister to give us the information that we need so that we can become better in our families, in our homes, in our communities, and Father, in our state, in our world. I, Father, want to thank you for these individuals who take time out of their busy schedule to come and to give us information that we need. Continue to bless this broadcast. Continue to bless them and their families. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And good morning, Bishop, and thank you so much. And welcome back to Hampton Roads, Bishop. I heard you out of town there. I guess he introduced us and left. But anyway, good morning, everyone. Every day we rise is a great day to be alive. And welcome to the 7 Cities Forums of Hampton Roads presents Portsmouth Coffee Talk. And we are, of course, on the radio on WGPL 1350 AM on your dial and Facebook Live. So good morning, and my host, Leah Drake-Stitt.
Good morning, James.
Good morning, and Thomas the Colonel Chapman.
Yes, good morning.
Back from Hawaii.
Yes.
His time in the sun. You must not be, doesn't look like he had a tan, so you must have been most of the time, huh?
Well, I got a tan.
Okay.
He's got a glow. He's got a glow.
He got a glow. Yes, indeed. And we welcome you, and we welcome our special guest this morning, Jovonne Jones. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Jovonne.
Thank you for joining us this morning as we focus on Women's History Month and this week, Women in Business. But before we get to that, Leah has, as every week we've been we've been recognizing women in the city of Portsmouth. And Leah, you go ahead and do your thing.
Okay, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Portsmouth Coffee Talk is so happy to be able to recognize Minister Wanda L. Hazel during Women in History Month and Women's Veterans Week. So she covers twofold. Wanda's a longtime friend of James Overton, so he shared a little about her. She's the mother of 3 sons and the first African-American female information system security manager for the Defense Health Agency Joint Medical Logistics Functional Developmental Center.
That's a
They are
mouthful.
responsible. That's a whole lot of words in there. They're responsible for securing the Defense Medical Logistics suite of applications that track and distribute medical supplies, such as PPEs and the COVID-19 vaccine. Minister Hazel is a retired Master Sergeant, U.S. Army Reserve, and she's a member of the Portsmouth Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She's also a member of Grove Church. She is a proud IC Norcom grad and was educated at the City College of Chicago, Strayer University, where she received her Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Systems, Nova Southeastern University, Virginia Union University, Samuel DeWitt Proctor School of Theology, where she received her Master's of Divinity, and completed the Duke University Professional Certificate in Project Management. So Wanda, for all of your wonderful achievements and commitment to issues in our community and service to our country on this day, which is Women in History Month and Women's Veteran Week, we say thank you for your service.
Yes.
And Leah, before you start, I'd like to say, we had a senator not too long ago, I can't remember his name, Tommy might remember, that said something about women serving in the service, that got pregnant or had children could not serve effectively. And I say that to mention that when Wanda was in the service, she had 2 small children and was shipped to Germany and still served our country well, even as a mother. So to that guy that made those statements,
thank you. Raspberries for him.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
One more thing before you get started, Leah, we want to welcome our new city manager.
Oh, yes.
And Portsmouth been looking for an angel, so her name is Angel Jones, and she's coming to us on April 12th to start as our new city manager, and we like to wish her well. And of course, I'll throw in that she's a Virginia Union.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. He can wear his he can wear his Virginia Union shirt again.
Yes, indeed. But we certainly welcome her and wish her well. We really need some stability in that position. So God bless her and we welcome her. So thank you, Leah.
Okay. This morning, I am truly excited because as we celebrate Women in History Month, to find a young lady who is an entrepreneur in the city of Portsmouth. Many of you may know her as Jovonne Wilson. Jovonne Jones was born and raised in the Cavalier Manor neighborhood of Portsmouth, Virginia. At 7 years old, and her 2 older brothers experienced the absence of their mother due to a mental illness. Jovonne struggled during that time and truly lacked the nurturing affection of a mother and the soft feminine presence in her home. Her maternal grandmother helped her to develop her ladylike qualities and encouraged her to have a classy, professional presence at all times, which she does. Having devastating experiences with adults and peers in her youth, Jovonne set out her adult life to always build the self-esteem and confidence in all children, as well as whomever crosses her path. For those that know Jovonne well, it's easy to assume that her best performance is that in the musical field as a classically trained flutist. However, throughout her adult life, the art of transforming and enhancing natural beauty as a cosmetologist and makeup artist has given her the career satisfaction she's always desired. From starting a nonprofit organization, mentoring young women up without a mother, to now owning and operating a firearms training center. Jovonne truly defines what some may call a serial entrepreneur. She has worked as a professional licensed hairstylist and makeup artist all over the US and became business owner of Flutterism, beauty experience salon and cosmetics, where she specializes in providing superior customer service, hair care, cosmetics, as well as life-changing makeover and images enhancement for people of all ages. Jovonne reached another goal of extending her services to cancer survivors through the American Cancer Society Look Good, Feel Better program. She's a certified instructor and able to teach each client how to perfect their personal image during and after chemotherapy or radiation with the use of cosmetics. After customizing each person with the head wrap or hair unit provided by the American Cancer Society in 2019, she received her degree in funeral services at Tidewater Community College, where she studied under our very own sheriff, Michael Moore. And she can assist the beautification of not only those living, but also the deceased. Jovonne feels that it is her duty to provide a lasting level of peace to hurting families during their time of bereavement, so that which each family last impression of the deceased loved one is as memorable and pleasant as possible. As of March 1st, 2021, I said everybody has a why within them. It's important that we reach deep inside and find out what that why is. Where Jovonne found her why as of March 1st, 2021. She became the first minority African-American female owner of Flutterism Firearm Training Center in Portsmouth, Virginia. Kapow, meaning knowledge applied protects other women. In the meaning of the foundation of this business, she feels that with proper instructions, everyone can and will reach their overall goals of being more prepared, aware, and safe while handling a firearm. With the professional collaboration and partnership with Dominion Criminal Justice Academy, she and her team plan to help students overcome insecurities and build confidence in not only women, but all people who have the desire to learn. She's the mother of two sons, 20 and 17, who are the reasons for her hard work. And Jovonne, I tell you, I am so excited because I was blessed to have been able to attend a couple of your classes on firearms. And I'm going to give our gentleman first, tell me about Flutterism. How did you come up with Flutterism?
Well, Flutterism is the name of my business, name of my LLC. And, in searching for a name for your business, everything is always taken when you're doing a search, through the state corporation commission. And everything that I wanted that had to do with a butterfly, that's my favorite because it's my grandmother, my mother's favorite. So everything that had to do with a butterfly was taken. So I looked up the definitions of, butterflies and flutter and everything. And the definition of flutter was nervous excitement.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, as a stylist, your clients come in nervous, excited. And when you turn them to the mirror, when they're finished, they're fearless and confident. Ooh. So I created that as my slogan: nervous excitement, fearless, confident. And ism is to be that, like Hinduism is to be a Hindu. So I want you to be nervous, excited, fearless, and confident.
Very good.
Which is the definition of Flutterism.
And Jovonne, you started this firearm business, and we noticed that more people are buying firearms now.
Yes.
We saw recently with the hate crime that took place in Atlanta, that they say more people of Asian descent are now purchasing firearms. Mm-hmm. More women are purchasing firearms. Tell me, why is it that why did you come up with the idea to start a firearm business?
Well, 25 years ago this year, my first cousin was murdered here in Portsmouth. And she was just such a beautiful lady, period. She was very popular in the city. She was just a happy-go-lucky, beautiful lady. And her life was taken by an ex-boyfriend of hers, in which she said several times she was afraid of, different threats he had made and so forth. And over the years since she's passed, I've always wondered, why didn't she, have a gun, or why didn't she get self-defense lessons, or, then I'm thinking back then in the 90s, that was not really popular, especially for young women. You just thought, they'd get over it and, move on with your life. And over the years since she's passed away, I lived in so much fear. I was afraid. I had terrible dreams, traumatic memories just of, wondering if she could have escaped, or if she could have, had another chance if she had the training. So my brother, who was a law enforcement officer, he started taking me to the gun range. And after going and going and going, I'm telling you, it's a level of confidence that just secured me more so than ever. And I was raised in a house with guns. My father hunts and so forth, but it was just something that, you know, we never touched, never asked about. That was just his thing. But as I got older, like I said, it just gave me a level of confidence and security that I just never imagined. Not that I'm out here flashing my weapon or anything like that, but I felt much more safe, you know, as a woman, always being, you know, I travel a lot. I'm always on my own. And I needed that level of security to actually help me overcome that trauma, which I didn't even realize I was dealing with. So as a, you know, I was saying, you know, this is my why, you know, my cousin's passing. And I said, you know what, it's my duty, just like I said, with funeral services, to bring peace with my clients in the salon, to bring a level of confidence and self-esteem. It's my duty here as a Portsmouth native to encourage young women and all who are wanting to know and learn how to defend themselves properly, how to carry safely, you know, and do it, you know, according to the law of our states.
Hey,
Yeah.
Leah, before I'm gonna let the Colonel go, but before you go, Leah, we are live on yours because I can't pull you up on your page live.
It says that I'm live on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Just
Uh-huh.
I went on my phone, but I just can't pull you up on your
Okay,
page.
let me see what I can do.
Okay. Colonel, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, Jovonne, it's interesting that we have this subject today because, you know, I also have a concealed weapons license.
Mhm,
And you talk about the laws, but
mhm.
you know what? After serving all these years in the military, 36 years,
Mm.
I will say my certificate, if I carry my weapon downtown and I'm out here in public, and if I'm in, say, open carry, my rights to bear arms as a Black man is different from person that looks like that wall behind you.
Mhm.
Because if something goes down and say the police comes and I have open carry, got all the certificates and I got everything,
Mhm.
I'm the first one they're gonna pull a gun out and take out, and before asking me for any of my anything, that do I have the right to carry a weapon. So it's different for us versus folks that look like that wall behind you.
You're exactly right, because, you know, actually in our training classes, that's what we actually teach. You know, we don't have classes directed to only African Americans. Classes are open to anyone that wants to learn, but we do teach how to respond being an African American, you know, because it is different for us. You're exactly right. You know, if you were to open carry, unfortunately, law enforcement will respond totally different to you than they would other people, you know. But these are the things that we have to begin to teach our children, our grandchildren, cousins, aunts, uncles, everyone else, how to properly respond, you know, in events that we do have to have our weapon exposed, or if we have to use our weapon. So that is a great point as far as, you know, anyone that wants to learn, you know, and I'm not just trying to market my school or anything like that, but this is the reason for this. This is the reason that we have to instruct each other on how to properly respond, because times are just so bad now. Times are totally, well, it's not totally different, but it's openly different. You know, years ago it was hidden. Now it's just everybody has a camera and they're exposing it. So
Yeah, and you know, I'm a big proponent of 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 weapons, and I
mhm,
think you have to know the law. And
most definitely.
even my son, you know, we have to have for our young Black men, with or without weapons, we have to have the talk,
Mhm,
just because of the times that we live in.
mhm,
You know, I have a talk with my son and say, you know, if you ever get pulled over, you put both hands on the wheel
mhm,
and pull over. First, you dial me and let me know
mhm,
where you're at and what's happening. And this is really what happened. And
mhm,
put both hands on the wheel and dial 911
mhm.
and ask for the desk sergeant. And this happened to me too. And last time I got pulled over while driving while Black, and I put both hands on the wheel And that I says, I am not saying a thing until the desk sergeant gets here.
Mm.
And I'm not going with my wallet doing nothing. And then I waited for the desk sergeant to get there, who got there, and I pulled out my wallet for my identification, and they saw my concealed weapons permit in my wallet, and they were going for, the young guy who pulled me over, I saw him motioning for his gun and asking me, do you have a weapon in the car? But long story short, the desk sergeant let me go because I wasn't doing anything after I explained to him, because I'm driving a nice car and, I got driving while black ticket. But those are talks we have to have for our young black men.
Most definitely. And even, I have two younger sons, 20 and 17. A couple of weeks ago, my son experienced the same thing. He has a curfew at 20 years old, and he was trying to get home by curfew. And of course, he was speeding a little bit. He was pulled over. He FaceTimed me. I'm like, thank God, he remembered some of our talks, and talks from, dad and everything too. So, he FaceTimed me. He was so cordial. Luckily, he had not a great experience, but a good experience while being black, being pulled over and it was a white officer. But, he was apologetic to the officer for speeding. He let him know I was trying to get home. Unfortunately, still got the ticket, but, it went better than what we've seen in the media. So, we do have to have those talks, and we do have to really, really, rehearse it, because in the time you get pulled over, depending on the officer that you may have, you may be provoked.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to respond. We have to teach our young people how to properly respond. It's so imperative because it could be another life lost.
Yes, yes. But you know what, as an entrepreneur yourself, what would you advice would you give somebody coming up that wants to start a business?
Oh my, really, probably know exactly what you want to do. Know exactly what you want to do. Do the research. How much is it going to cost? What's the upfront cost? Can you avoid loans? Can you have investors? Look into overall research before just hopping out there. Make sure you have your certifications and your licensure to back you. A lot of people hop out here and they don't have the paperwork to back them, but they may know how to do something very well. So they think, oh, let me go get a business card and I'm legit. No, you need that licensure, that certification, that program, and whatever schooling that you need, you have to do. You can't bypass it. That's what creates the professional part of being a business owner. So many people have a business license from the city, but they don't have a tradesman license or a degree or so forth. So make sure you have your paperwork. Make sure you can back it up, because that's what holds so much weight. So,
one more thing.
Go ahead.
One thing you did mention that you have an LLC, and people don't know, if you're not standing behind that LLC, you can be personally sued, and everything else you've owned for the rest of your life or whatever. And can you explain the difference in having that LLC or not having that LLC in the business world?
Well, in the beginning, I operated as a sole proprietor. So I fell under sole proprietorship. So I did not have an LLC. And I owned, at the time, my salon and my cosmetic line. So I didn't have a fear about anything, but I didn't know what the LLC would do for me, how it would cover my personal. So it was years before I stepped out and formed the LLC, because I began to branch off with different businesses. So I felt like I needed an umbrella. I have the Flutterism Experience LLC, and I needed everything else to fall under that to protect myself. As things got, if you want to say larger, as things grew, I needed something more than sole proprietorship, because I was branching out to something different. And then I did want to be covered. I didn't want anything to attack my personal, and I wanted to make sure I covered myself properly. So hope that answered the question.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
And Jovonne, you made a good point talking about having those financial backers, even if you have loans to start your business, because that's why so many Black businesses fail.
That's right.
They don't have the money to cover them before they start making a profit. And you know,
That's right.
bank loans don't always give us as much as they might give someone else.
That's correct. That's correct.
That extra backing, because sometimes it takes a while for you to turn a profit, and you see a lot of Black businesses closing before within a year because they haven't made the profit to cover the cost.
That's exactly right.
That point is very important, making sure you cover all those financial bases. You know, you're not going to make that profit coming out the gate.
No. Sometimes it's years before you see a profit.
Right. So
You know, and you have to know that. And this business of, you know, as cosmetologists, you know, we're not really taught exactly how to plan out. So it's so important to just, you know, do the research, find out, go sit at somebody's feet, you know, who's done it, you've seen for years, you know, whatever profession, just ask the questions to find out the longevity. How do you sustain? How can it be more than just a year venture, you know? So that's what I tell everybody. Make sure you know what you're doing. And I didn't know everything in the beginning. I just pulled people that I knew business, you know, and I didn't want to listen because I'm like, no, I don't want to get an accountant. I don't want to put my money up. I don't want to wait for a first and a 15th. I make money every day, you know, especially in my profession. But in order to make it, you have to be disciplined. You have to have rules. So that's something that definitely helps with the longevity of your business. Having accountability partners, having people to just oversee what you're doing. And a lot of people don't like that as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, sometimes that's not good. I want to get back to your training business with the gun safety part of it. And, you know, one of the problems we have is, you know, having responsible gun owners. You know, some people think because they own a gun, that's enough. Because they hunted one time, that's enough. That's a lot different from having a concealed weapon or a firearm, you know, and, you know, handling a rifle or a shotgun. So I guess your training covers that. But one of the concerns I have about people that, it's just like the fellow that killed the 8 people in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He bought the gun that day. I mean, you know, should it be, you know, and we talk about gun laws and people fight against, you know, restricting their rights and everything, but who knows what would have happened if he had to wait 24 hours or 48 hours.
Right.
You know, and every city has different gun laws. So we have to think about that. And I'm also concerned about people that might have mental illness.
Yeah.
No really way to really gauge that. But I said that to ask, you know, say for instance in your class, if someone signs up for your class and pays and everything, but you all notice something not right with this guy.
Well, now we've talked about that too. Mr. Waters is my partner. I didn't hear the last part, I'm sorry.
No, I was saying and I think you were about to answer that. I was going to ask, what would be your responsibility there if you notice someone sitting in your class that's obviously unbalanced and probably shouldn't be thinking about a gun?
Well, Mr. Waters is my partner in this. And we've talked about this before. And because he's done several trainings prior to joining with Flutterism Training Center, he said there have been times that he had to deny the concealed permit because he saw instability. So we can reject that, you know, and if need be, refund them, you know. There are no refunds, but if need be, we will, because we're not gonna ever be a part of anything like that, you know, or say, you know, if we hadn't, you know, given them the concealed certificate, this wouldn't have happened, you know. So we do have the right to say, no, you are not stable enough to hold this certificate.
You all are a big part of that process now, since the law has changed. You can't do these online trainings. You have to be an in-person. And that law just went over in the state of Virginia this year.
That's right, January 1st.
January
and that's
1st.
Actually a good thing, to be honest, to me, because if you could take an online class and get a concealed permit, no one knows your status. No one knows if you really even know how to hold that weapon.
Exactly.
So that's why this training class is so imperative, because we actually can teach you how to do that. And if you don't feel comfortable, you can get more help. You know, it's not like, okay, get out of here, you touched it, get out. No, we're gonna make sure you feel comfortable. We're gonna make sure if you don't have a weapon, we're gonna make sure we fit you with the proper weapon, because we do have several that you can actually test. Make sure, especially for women, you know, women have really small hands. So, you know, for them to hold a 45 caliber handgun, you know, that'll be really large for them. So we do want them to be able to know what to go purchase when they go get a weapon, you know.
That's why some of the gun owners never to reject a law in its entirety before you read the law and see the little components that are in there. You reject the whole law, but you leave out those little things, just like you just mentioned. That's very important. Now you can't go online and just take the class and to a judge and get a concealed weapon. So, you know, just look at the whole law before you say, oh, this is not right, you're taking away my rights. And I understand their reasoning for some of the things, but a lot of them are not really educated on the full extent of the law.
Right.
Jovonne, I have noticed, having sat in some of your classes, the excitement that the women have after they learn all the things that they need to learn about, first of all, getting a concealed weapon, how to carry that concealed weapon, as well as to recognize those that you need to recognize your triggers.
That's
so let's
right.
talk about triggers, because people do have triggers that may send them someplace they don't want to go.
Oh yeah, most definitely. For me, my triggers, you know, well, my main trigger is road rage. You know, so if somebody's cutting me off or doing some foolish driving while I'm on the road, we don't need cameras on. I say that. We don't need cameras on. But, you know, if you just happen to, you know, get into an altercation because of road rage, you pull over, you have your weapon, oh my God, that could escalate to something you never, ever, ever expected. So we always talk about in class, knowing your triggers, know when to walk away, know when to just bow out, especially when you have your weapon, because you can end up in a place, you know, because of, you know, tension, that you will spend the rest of your life in prison if you don't handle it properly, you know. So some people, their triggers are being around drunk people. You know, they don't like it. Some people just don't like, you know, if someone's talking bad to their kids, you know, or talking bad to any kid. So if you have your weapon on you, especially, you walk away from that thing. You know, you just got to bow out gracefully, because you could end up in a world of mess all behind not handling your triggers.
Yes, yes. Hey, I'm gonna put a little quick commercial break in here, as you say, and just like Jovonne had said earlier, we also have an LLC. It's called Hampton Roads 7 Cities Forum LLC. And if you like what you're hearing on this radio station and online or whatever, you can send. We're always looking for donations or partnerships, and you can send that to P.O. Box 7664, Portsmouth, Virginia 23707, and that's Hampton Road 7 Cities Forum. And we also have an email set up if you'd like to send us a shout out and tell us how we're doing, and Slim will give that to you here.
Yes, and we definitely want to hear from you. And that email is Hampton Roads Forum. I'm sorry, the Hampton Roads
7 Cities
Forum at yahoo.com. Hampton Roads Cities Forums at yahoo.com.
And we are currently live on Facebook. As I mentioned earlier, I had these students working on my Facebook page, so I tried to share it with you, James. I don't know if it has come through on your page, and I tried to share it on Cookie's page, but we'll see what happens later on today. But we will be on Zoom. We will be on YouTube as well. Did you have it, James?
I don't have it on my phone, but I see the live on the Zoom page. So
okay.
I see it.
And audience, if you see us talking like this, we're a work in progress. We're still
yes, we are
making sure that we're bringing you quality videos and opportunity to see this for those, especially those people that don't get up at 6:30 in the morning.
And Jovonne, I know one of the things that you were trying to offer your persons who attend your class is the opportunity to go to the range. But due to COVID, you've not been able to do that. Will you kind of talk a little bit about that,
Yes, that was a part of the class in the beginning. Actually, this was not supposed to be a concealed weapons course. This was actually supposed to be just firearm training. I was in a salon talking to a couple of my clients, and I was asking if anything happened. Well, let me go back a little bit further. I carry my weapon with me almost every day. And my clients get so scared when I walk in and they may see it or something like that. And I said, why are y'all so afraid, And well, you shouldn't carry that. You shouldn't. So I said, well, let me educate you real quick. So I began to talk to them and so forth. And I said, if somebody came in here right now, the way that my salon is set up, I said, what would you do if they came in here and they fumbled and their gun fell out of their hand? Somebody said they run out. Someone said they would kick it. Someone said they'd take it and start shooting. Then I asked, have you ever had any firearm training? Oh, no. Okay, so we got a big problem. So you may not know what to do. Safety may be on, you don't know what type of handgun it is or if it's a handgun. So I said, would you be interested in training? Oh, yeah. So after finding out several other women were interested, I said, I'm gonna start a firearms training class. And with that, we'll go to the range. COVID was so in the way, so we weren't able to do that. So they still wanted the class. So then I ended up partnering with Mr. Waters and Miss Avery, Tracy Avery and Marvin Waters. And we came up with something just so great, something greater than I even expected. So with that, even though we're not able to go to the range, we actually have a gun simulator that we're able to use to actually print out how well you're doing and to show women how to actually hit a target and go through actually home invasions, things like that, and it's through the computer. So we're able to incorporate that as well as state laws, concealed now, and other ways of self-defense. So it's so much bigger than what I even thought it would be. And the response from the community, even people in other states, they've been calling, want to know, can you come to Maryland? Can you come to DC? Can you come to North Carolina? I'm like, yeah, sure. Just give us a chance. We'll be to you all too. So.
And like you're saying, it's important to know the laws, because just sitting in the class to learn that at DMV, you cannot even carry a gun in the parking lot of DMV. So you learn those places where you can carry a gun and those places where you can't carry a gun. For instance, at the airport, you can't even break the gun into parts and take it in the airport, because explain that to us, please.
Oh, they got to sign up for class to get that part, Ms. Leah.
Okay, all right.
Give it all away. They got to come into class to get it. But those are very, very important points, because a lot of times you think you can ship your ammunition, or you can put your ammunition in your luggage. Oh, you're going to jail. So we just have to know how to properly travel with our weapons, what states we can travel in, what states we cannot travel in, and knowing the procedures to actually get it done. So that's part of the training.
Excuse me, let me just step in here. We're approaching the 7 o'clock hour, but we will extend, we will carry on to Facebook Live, but we have to end our radio session, which ends at 7 o'clock. So we want to thank all of the listeners on WGPL 1350 AM and the Bishop, Edward Johnson, for graciously giving us a time slot on his morning show. So thank you everybody for listening, and we will, Bishop will come on and end the show at his convenience, but we'll continue on with Facebook Live with our guest, Jovonne Cookie Jones. And I have a question, sort of switching back to your other business. You do something special for women cancer survivors. It's not about just doing the hair, but it's about an emotional involvement, because that's a very emotional thing for some women to be going through that, and then having to lose their hair and things like that, and you put all that together. So coming in, what you do for them is more than cosmetic.
Right.
Yes.
About that.
Yes. Well, back in 2015, I actually started with the American Cancer Society's Look Good, Feel Good program. And what they teach is for cancer survivors to get their oomph back, I can say. A lot of times they not only lose their hair, they lose their eyebrows. So most people just don't know how to put an eyebrow back on. So they actually have a team of cosmetologists, and they train them on how to perfect the look, on how to teach each cancer survivor how to get their looks back, so to speak, or feel better about their new look. And with a series of trainings and so forth, we set up classes, and a lot of women came out and we taught. So from that, I ended up hearing about another class in Canada where they actually taught what's called a non-surgical hair replacement. And some people call it the man weaves. And I drove up to Canada. Excuse me.
Why is it called the man weave? I might
It's for
be
you,
interested.
James.
Well, technically, you would be a perfect candidate for a man weave. But a lot of men are very secure with their baldness, and they have a great look with it. So a lot of men are not secure. If you go back to Steve Harvey, no one knew he had what was known as a toupee, but it's known as a man weave. But
It was too perfect.
Oh yeah, it was always so perfect, like the top of a microphone.
Yeah.
But to make a long story short, cosmetologists have incorporated other ways for that procedure to be used for cancer survivors and other people that deal with alopecia. So I went to a class in Canada, learned how to do it, and instead of just using the American Cancer Society's methods of wigs and head wraps, I incorporated the non-surgical hair replacement for people not only dealing with cancer, but lupus, alopecia related, issues. Some people just have stress and they don't know what to do during that time of hair loss. So this is just another procedure I incorporated to actually build the confidence once again and help people to feel so much better about what's going on, and not to focus so much on the hair loss, but feeling good about themselves and accepting what they have going on and moving forward.
And not only that, you help families as you prepare their loved ones. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, that's really my passion, my heart, But with COVID and everything going on, things have changed a lot in the funeral industry for me. It's a lot more serious and a lot more. I had just really to be more cautious at this time of my life. But it's going back to my cousin when she passed away back in '95, I was just so displeased at my lasting impression of her. And I always said, if I ever get an opportunity to do the restorative artwork, I would never, ever leave a family like I felt, And sometimes, certain things can't be helped, depending on the type of death that someone may have, some things cannot be put together well. But it was my duty, I'm telling you, I have to get the education. That's the reason I went to school for funeral service. I wanted the restorative art so I can make sure that I knew everything it took to put that facial structure back together. I needed to know the anatomical structure of the face so I can know how to put it back with wax, whatever it may be, no matter what the cause of death was. So I really believe that that's just another purpose that I have, to bring peace to the families by restorative art and giving them that lasting impression.
Right.
Positive lasting impression, I'll say. So.
You know what? In wartime, especially in this last conflict with Afghanistan and Iraq, and the major mode is those blast injuries, IEDs, and having seen so many people on the operating table, and we know this coming across, this is going to be a closed casket because there's nothing to put together. And so I gotta applaud anybody that works on the families if they can just that last picture of your loved one there before your intern is last you forever. Because when you have those closed casket funerals, it's
the closure.
Yeah, the closure is never. I was wondering, is it really the person in there?
Yeah. And that is a major issue for a lot of people, but sometimes families just, they don't want to bear that, you know, sometimes they don't even want to risk someone trying to put it back together, you know, depending on the cause of death. Sometimes you may have suicides and other things, you know, gunshot wounds to the head. So some families don't even want you to bother.
Yeah.
But the restorative art for that is available, you know, but
Yeah.
that's a very, very touchy time, and it has to be on that family, so.
Yes. And then post cancer survivor, well, cancer people that die from cancer for long term, because you've lost so much weight and you don't look the same and where you did say 6 months prior.
That's
and
right.
You had a big, you know, 60, 70, 80 pound loss weight. And, you just wonder how, you know, your profession does the best with what they have.
Well, you would be surprised. There are so many ways, and even though I'm not that expert on all those levels, but there are so many ways to restore that person. Like I said, to give that family that lasting peace. Like I said, a lot of times people just say, you know, that's how mom passed. We're just gonna make sure, you know, we just have that casket closed. But sometimes they just want to just show that the celebration of that life and say, hey, this is the result of, but we have peace about it. You know, but there are so many ways in funeral services, and especially if you have an embalmer like Mr. Moore has taught in school, you know, and we also had Mr. Walton and Miss Jones as well as in school, but Mr. Moore did do that hands-on embalming with us. So he was just a genius. So.
Yeah, I worked a couple years as oncology services when I was in San Antonio.
Okay.
And then it was a regional referral center. And so the patients that I was seeing, and I did that for 2 years, patients I saw on the front end were coming back to me on the back end before I left that job, were coming back to die. And I could see the difference.
Yeah.
If they've had, you know, surgery or especially if you had like ENT surgery. That's you know, and it's just astounding. And then and I'd also have to have the talk, you know, bring the family in and have the talk about, you know, preparing yourself for that day comes. Because a lot of times the doctors would come get me and says, well, Tom, can you, or they'd say, Colonel Chapman, can you come talk to such and such? I can't talk to the patient or the family, saying there's nothing else we could do.
Yeah.
And whatever we're doing, we're just keeping them alive or whatever. But we need to let them go. And then it would also bring into the conversation of what do you want in the last days and for that last funeral service too. Because, you know, it stays with everybody.
Yeah.
Jovonne, let me ask you this, you know, African-American women that want to go into business, and, you know, you got the women and minority business situation. Is that an advantage for African-American women being a double minority?
No.
Simple answer, no, it's not.
No, it's not an advantage, no. If you don't know somebody, if you don't know some folks, you better get to know some folks and get to know some bodies. Again, like we said before, we just don't have the same, I would say, privileges. We don't have the same, I say privilege. We don't have the same privileges as others, you know, but if you plan, once again, if you set out and make sure you don't have to borrow a certain way, or if you do have to borrow, you know, just make sure you know who to go to, make sure you know who looks out for who, make sure your rates are reasonable. If you have to, don't get caught up in high interest loans, and make sure you have someone to review your terms. And I can't say my experiences as I'll say a Black woman have been horrible, but I have seen the mistreatment and I've been rejected of things because of being a Black woman. But it just caused me to work harder, go a different route, make up something new, create a new plan. Don't do things as what we might know is norm. When I started my business, I did not want debt. I didn't want a loan. So I actually said in 2006, I'm going to open my salon. I didn't open my salon until 2013. But I had every item that I needed in my shed, every station, every dryer. I walked into my salon and everything was there. I didn't have to get a loan. But at the time, my husband was like, what are you doing? This shed is full of all this crap, but I just felt like it's coming sooner than later. And in 2013, like I said, I was prepared. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just kept finding stuff, almost like the training center here. I didn't know that it was going to be like this. And I just kept finding stuff. People were giving things. And I mean, I can't even describe, but when you have to do something, I'm telling you, and God puts something on your heart to do and puts the idea in your mind, best believe he's going to make a way for you to do it. And that's my testimony with everything that I've tried. I've attempted and have been successful with. God put it on my heart, gave me the idea, gave me the plan, put the people into my life to make it happen. And I trusted that and just stepped out there. And it's scary. As an African-American woman, it is scary, because you feel like, who has my back? When we're taught in our own community not to even trust each other. But you just trust God and just keep it moving, and if I do fall, you just get up, get up and try it a different way.
That's it.
That's very commendable and inspirational. So people just, I ask you that because I've heard people say, well, you're a double minority, you're in good shape, but nothing against having that woman part of the act, but it opens it up for a lot of other people and increases that competition for that money that's out there. And oftentimes that money is for some people that really don't need it, but because
don't need it and don't qualify.
And don't qualify.
Really qualify.
Category, and like you said, they know somebody.
Correct.
Right. So sometimes along with that, you have to have that tenacity, that drive that you have in order to make it happen.
That's true.
Jovonne, back to your firearm training center.
Yes, ma'am.
How many people can you accommodate? How often are you holding sessions? And I noticed that you began with only women, and then I saw the infiltration of the men.
That sounds like roaches or something.
I said, what happened? What happened to my ladies? This is to train my ladies. And in the last session, there seemed to be more men than ladies in the training session. So how often are you having them? How many people can you accommodate?
Why don't you use the word interest of men instead of
infiltration of men?
Well, originally,
exterminator or something.
Originally, I did start the Kapow as knowledge applied protects other women. And I knew that men would be incorporated at some point, but I just feel like because of a woman, and especially because of a Black woman, men are who they are. Because women, we go hard for our men. We make sure, if we know something, everybody knows it. So if knowledge is applied to protect other women, women are going to definitely protect their families and going to instill that knowledge. If I know something, or you know something, you're going to spread it. Oh my God, did y'all know about so-and-so? And it's the Black woman's determination that always gets over to the next level. So it wasn't technically just for women, but it was, if you tell a woman, the job is going to get done.
You're right.
So, and from that, it started with my clients and friends and so forth, and family even too. And men kept calling, and women would say, oh, I want my husband to take this class. He has a gun, but he really doesn't know how to use it. I'm like, oh my goodness, but they're not going to say, but I said, you know what, bring your husband. We're going to open up the class. Starting March, we open up the classes to men. And then they begin to tell other people, and the phone has just been ringing off the hook. So right now I can accommodate between 10 and 12. I don't really want any more than 10 to 12 per class because it becomes overwhelming trying to do the hands-on portion. But as of April, I'll be doing 2 classes a week on Sundays and Wednesdays, except Easter Sunday. So the week of the Easter week, we won't be doing, but after that, we'll be doing Sundays and Wednesdays. And like I said, we can accommodate up to 12. My next class is the 28th, which is this Sunday coming up, but we're already maxed out for that. The 11th class, we only have a few seats available for that. So really, Wednesday classes are really the only ones available from 5 to 8. So if you're interested, hey, let me know, but Wednesdays, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. But Sunday classes,
Sundays you start at what time?
12 to 3:30-ish. And we just do 3:30 to give time for lunch and questions. So it's a 3-hour class and people don't want to leave. They don't want to leave. They want to tell us about all their cousins' felonies and everything, which is okay, you know, but it's a firearm training class, and we just want you to know the law. We want you to be comfortable with where you are and where you're going.
I probably need to take that because I would be the guy to pull the gun and the clip falls out.
No, sir, because we're gonna get that clip at the door before you even get in here.
Yeah.
But we gonna make sure you get educated for sure.
And
Now,
what-
those people that have their rights restored,
Uh-huh.
do they have to show that as proof, or how would you know that someone is a felon? And
We don't ask any of those questions, to be honest with you. If you're gonna pay for a certification class to get your permit, you know where you stand.
Mhm.
You know exactly where you stand, because technically, I really don't want to know.
Mhm.
But if you're paying for education, that's one thing. If you're paying to get your permit, that's another thing. But a lot of times people are here for that permit and that permit only. We do have people that have their permit that just come in to get the education. They say, oh, I took it online. I really don't know anything. So that's another reason to come in. So, but as far as their past and what's going on with them, we don't ask any of those questions. We just try to implement all state laws, rules, and how to operate. Being Black,
taking that class doesn't guarantee that they can get a firearm.
no, because something may come back that they didn't know about.
Mhm.
Yeah. But after taking the class, you receive a concealed certificate that you take to your city's clerk of courts, and you then apply. It's $55 to apply for your permit, and most of the class participants, they received theirs in 2 weeks. Which was amazing. I was just shocked. I'm like, 2 weeks, some less than 2 weeks. So it's been really good for everybody.
How do I get a hold of you and so I can sign up to get the class? And how much does it cost the participant, if you can put that out?
Okay, you can get a hold of me by phone, 757-606-0222, or you can go to the website, flutterism.com. That's FLUTTERIZM.com. And as soon as you log on to flutterism.com, a pop-up comes up and it's a registration page. When you register, someone will get in contact with you within 24 hours and let you know what your next steps are. The class is $175. It includes a full kit for you to go to the range. Your eyewear, your ear protection, your pistol box, your locks, other materials that you would need, your books and everything included with the class, including a backpack for you to carry everything in. Also includes lunch for the class and a wealth of knowledge that will carry you through a lifetime. And I think a $75 deposit to hold your seat for the class. And then you can pay your balance of $100 the day of class.
You can pay that online too with a credit card.
You can pay online. I send you an invoice, or you can pay via Cash App, Zelle, or you can meet me in person and pay cash. A lot of people say, well, I don't do online transfers and so forth. Well, we can meet either at my salon or meet here at the facility. So either or.
Thank you.
You're
It's
welcome.
good too for that gun-ho guy out there that might be in a situation, just walked in the middle of a robbery and thinks he knows exactly what you do. Hopefully y'all cover, how to deal with a situation like that. If you walk up on a situation, you just can't pull it out and say, you have to
Definitely. We talk
assess
about
the situation.
everything.
You
Just
got
about everything is covered.
Is it
Okay.
every fight is not your fight?
That's right.
Huh? What else did it say?
Right. We teach every fight is not your fight, and every conversation does not have to be had.
That's
Period.
right. That's right.
Period. So sometimes you just gotta walk away.
Yes.
Yes.
You and everybody's not a hero.
Yeah, well, sometimes guns give those people that false sense of superiority.
It
That's
does.
right.
It does.
I can do anything, you know,
That's
and they end
right.
up getting injured themselves because, you know, they didn't handle it properly.
Correct.
Yes.
You know, I have truly been amazed just while being at the sheriff's office. I never really had an interest in guns at all. I've actually had a fear of guns.
Mhm.
And I took the class under Colonel Waters prior to him joining with you.
Mhm.
And I've taken the class, I've sat in on your classes, and I am truly amazed at the number of women that I run into who are actually carrying guns.
Mhm.
I was really surprised, and but I'm seeing some who have tell me they have concealed weapon license permits, but yet their knowledge once again is not where it needs to be. So that's why they
Correct.
need to be in that class. So they
Mhm.
can learn those things. You know, if someone comes into your home, when am I permitted to defend myself?
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
so there are just certain things that you need to know. And like
Mhm.
you said, which states you cannot even carry a weapon into because
Mhm.
you will be charged. So it's
Mhm.
important that not only that you carry the weapon, but that you have a knowledge of what it is you're carrying and what are the consequences that comes with your
Mhm.
carrying that weapon.
That's
I
right.
haven't bought a weapon yet. I've been certified. I haven't bought a
Mhm.
weapon yet, but still, it's good to know those things so that you can be prepared for situations to come up in life.
That's
So
true.
you're still carrying that knife, huh?
Yes, you're back in the day, the razor blade between the finger. Remember? Yes,
But you're
indeed.
right, Ms. Leah. A lot of people have, I was one of them. I carried a 45 caliber handgun in my back, between my pants and my back. Illegally. I carried it to school
Hmm.
because I had several incidents that, I was so frightened. And because of what happened to my cousin, I was like, nobody's gonna ever have me jammed up, so to speak. And while attending college, I carried it in class every day and I had no fears. I was just like, no one is going to touch me, or harm me. Or so after learning, I said, oh my God, I could have been so jacked up in jail and everything else had anyone found out I had a handgun. And it wasn't even in my name. That's the, the worst part about it. So I'm like, oh my God, I was just all wrong. So
Yes, yes.
luckily, I was blessed to have the knowledge. And like I said, my brother being in law enforcement, he taught me just like he was teaching someone in the department. And I was just so blessed to have that. And my job, like I said, is to educate other women, other people that's willing to learn,
Hmm.
to help build that confidence, and get over the fear. Like you said, Ms. Leah, a lot of people are so fearful. Are you fearful of the gun or something that happened in your past or someone you know? The gun can't do anything until that person picks it up,
You know,
so.
and just like you mentioned, like you drop a gun doesn't automatically go off. So I was under the impression that if you drop a gun, it would go off,
No, you have
So
to pull the trigger for it to go off. So some people will say something different, but hey, we know
mhm.
it takes that trigger being pulled to shoot. So,
Wow.
The General Assembly also strengthened the laws on gun safety as far as in the homes.
mhm,
We hear about these cases all the time where parents have guns in the homes and the child picks it up and shoots themselves
mhm,
or
mhm.
somebody. So they kind of strengthen those laws, but those laws don't come into effect until it happens.
Until it happens. Mhm.
I guess taking your class is also a way to prevent things like that from happening because some people
Definitely.
just don't think about it. They have the gun and say their kid will never, because I remember being as a small kid, my father had a gun in the house.
Mhm.
He had it up in the closet and it intrigued me. And I would go in the closet and just look at it.
Mhm.
I think they realized that it had been moved, and I never saw it there again. But I could have really damaged myself,
Mhm.
because they just didn't think, well, he's not going to climb up and look at this.
Mhm.
I see Tommy laughing.
I'm just saying, did you take it to school?
No, I didn't. I wanted to, but hopefully your class covers those areas.
Oh, definitely.
as
That's the
well.
purpose of us giving the pistol boxes and the locks to go along with it, so we can properly educate how to lock your handgun. In the event you are in a home with small children and things, we go over all of those things. It's so important to know, because even though you may need your weapon, if you have a home invasion or something like that, at least you can prepare your mind for a safety drill in order to get your weapon. If you have a lockbox, you know exactly how to get it. Sometimes you may think, I may not have time, but at least if you have it locked, you can get to it.
Mhm.
And one thing that you all do also is awareness
Mhm.
for ladies. So they need to be aware of when you get into your car at night, or, to check certain things out, so that awareness piece is very important as well. Because so
And
often we're on
also,
the phones and we're not paying attention to who's
correct,
behind us, who may be behind our car,
right,
so you have to be aware of your surroundings.
correct. And also that firearms are very good to have, and to own, but there are other routes as well, other than a weapon. There are other routes. You don't always have to shoot a gun to be effective. So we teach those other routes as well in class.
Mhm.
Let that be the last resort. And
Mhm.
a long time ago, or people might be saying it now. The thing was, someone's on your front porch, shoot them and drag them in the house.
Drag them in the house.
But
That's a whole nother story.
a whole nother story, because
It
law
is,
teaches us that it's a lot of things you can't do, even if they're in your house. They
correct.
have to be a threat.
They have to be a threat. Mhm.
Mhm.
Standing there they got in your house and they're standing there. You can't just shoot them.
Mhm.
Correct,
They have
correct.
to. Then you're gonna have to prove that
Exactly.
person lunged at you. So all these things are necessary to know. So you'll do the right thing, or you'll find yourself in jail for shooting an intruder or being sued by
That's
their
right.
family because you shot somebody that and we seen this happen, thought they were going in, one place that wasn't the place that they thought they were going in.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Exactly.
so knowledge is key.
It is, it really is.
Yes, it is.
I think about how many people are serving time right now, that could have prevented any of that from happening if they only had a little course, $175 course.
Mhm.
I'm serious though. I think about that. I said, my God, you got so many people that just don't know or didn't know. And if they had a course, their lives may have been spared, they could still be here with us. They could have the knowledge and not be, have a record, you know. So it's very important just to educate yourself, just like school, we have to educate ourselves. We have to educate ourselves as being citizens, especially in the state of Virginia. We have to know the laws,
Mhm.
and we got to abide by them. No matter what, we have to abide by the laws. So,
Right. But you know what? You
And
talk
I think it's good too.
laws,
Oh, go ahead, Colonel. Go
talk
ahead.
about laws, but anytime that we talk about guns, and for certain people across this country, anytime you say the word guns, they don't care about anything about, say, your class, because they say that your class is an interference to my freedoms,
mhm,
and which is a problem across the country. And we talk about common sense gun laws. They don't want anything in the way of getting my gun,
mhm.
and they don't care.
Mhm.
They don't care, and that's our society today.
Mhm.
Okay.
And one thing, Jovonne, one thing that you all teach to also is that all the laws that apply to others does not necessarily apply to us.
Correct,
So you have to
Correct.
be knowledgeable of that as well.
correct. So what one set of people may get away with, we know we won't.
That's
So
right.
we do teach and reinforce those things that no matter how much you can run your mouth, that does not apply to you, especially
Exactly.
being Black. So we definitely go over those things as well. And it's so imperative, especially for, like I said, somebody turning 21 every single day. So if you know a 21-year-old that definitely needs to know, especially being Black, this is definitely a class for them.
Mhm.
You know, and like I said, I'm not boosting it just because it's mine. If I knew of another place, I would say, hey, you guys need to get either here or there,
Mhm.
because this is where it's happening. You know, I have never had this much knowledge as far as just not even just caring, but just being Black in this society. Never had it. Never had it. So I encourage it, everyone. You know, even just if you want to be nosy, just sit in, you know. I'm telling you, it's just good stuff. Good stuff that we definitely need.
An example of people not knowing is just look at the guys out there in the street, with the guns just shooting anywhere.
And you just
You
shooting,
think
don't
they
touch it.
know what they're doing. They're
And
hitting
not
into
hitting one
Not
target,
hitting one
Yeah.
thing.
shooting a machine gun and not hitting nothing.
Nothing.
anything.
And that's not to glorify that, but
Correct.
I want to talk about how important it is to know what you're doing and be responsible with guns.
Exactly.
That other subject's a whole nother subject. Didn't know
Yeah.
bring that up.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're coming to a close. But before we get there, Leah, did you want to give your recognition of our Portsmouth resident?
I certainly will. During this Women in History Month, Portsmouth Coffee Talk would like to recognize Minister Wanda L. Hazel. And also this Women's Veterans Week. So Wanda has a twofold tab that she serves on today. Wanda is a longtime friend of James Overton, and he shared with us that she's the mother of 3 sons and the first African-American female information system security manager for the Defense Health Agency Joint Medical Logistics Functioning Development Center. They are responsible for securing the Defense Medical Logistics suite of applications that track and distribute medical supplies such as PPEs and the COVID-19 vaccine. Minister Hazel is a retired Master Sergeant, U.S. Army Reserves, member of the Portsmouth Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and a member of Grove Church. She's an IC Norcom grad and was educated at City Colleges of Chicago, Strayer University, where she received her Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Systems, Nova Southeastern University, Virginia Union University, Samuel D. Witt Proctor School of Theology, Masters of Divinity, and completed the Duke University Professional Certificate in Project Management. For all of your wonderful achievements, Wanda, and commitment to issues in our communities and service to our country, we thank you. Thank you, Wanda, for your service.
Thank you, Wanda. And she continues to serve in another capacity as a minister.
Yes.
At the church. Do have one more question. I have to ask this because it's from the Colonel and our cousin, John Gantz, who's watching out of Texas. And he's asking, what do you think about shooting insurance? You know anything about that? Shooting insurance?
What does he mean by shooting insurance? I know we offer.
He says USCCA and such. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's you insured for shooting someone or I don't.
Oh, well, as far as
to...
our business, we're definitely covered with insurance in the event of anything happening. You know, that's a huge plus. People think you can just open up a class and not have the proper insurance. That's what I said, again, going back to research what it takes to have a training center as such. Anytime you're dealing with firearms, you know insurance is a huge issue. So you definitely have to have your coverage. So we definitely do have that. I didn't know if he meant as far as students, you know, like, well, here with the Flutterism Training Center, we have coming up soon the Kapow Gun Club, in which we offer a level of insurance to gun carriers, people that hold a gun, almost like car insurance. We offer, you know, it's a subscription-based program, but you're covered with an hour of range time. You have a emergency dispatch in the event that you need to use your weapon. We have legal aid for you. It's not free, you pay into it, but you have an hour consultation, which usually will cost you $500 to $1,000 to consult in the event you had to use your weapon. So with your Kapow Gun Club membership, you pull out your card if you have to use your weapon, and you call the number on the back, and you can reach legal aid in the event that you do have to use your weapon. It also comes with 20% off gun accessories, because Dominion Criminal Justice Academy is a dealer. You have 10% off your guns, and there's so many other perks with that. So that's another level of insurance that we do offer people that do carry.
Okay, he did clear it up, and that's what he was talking about, shooters insurance that provide lawyers in case you're involved.
That comes with the gun club.
site. And he said, yeah, that's it. You covered.
Yes.
And Jovonne, you have some more interesting things coming up. I don't think you want to talk about it now. I don't know if it's in place yet, but there's some more interesting things which will take place at your training center in the future. And so people need to stay tuned and go to your page and find out all the interesting things that will soon be taking place at the training center.
Yes, ma'am. I can say a couple of things. You know, we will be offering women's self-defense, as well as senior citizen crime prevention. You know, knowing how to protect yourselves, knowing how to deal with scam calling, internet scams. You know, sometimes Dominion Power scams have been, you know, pay me now or you'll be cut off by 2 o'clock. We're trying to teach our seniors, especially that are not quite internet savvy and phone savvy, as far as not knowing how to decipher who's real and who's not real. Questions that they need to ask before proceeding with payments by phone and so forth. So we definitely want to help everyone in our community and everyone that wants to learn. So those will be incorporated in the months of April and May.
Okay.
Good points.
Thank you, Ms. Leah.
You're welcome, Jovonne.
And thank you.
You have so many good things going. I know it's hard to just keep track of all of it like that. It's so many great things taking place, and it's surely a value to the community at large. And we're just grateful for you, and we're grateful for you as a young woman, entrepreneur, a classical flutist, gun carrying woman, beautician. I mean, you beautify them in life and you beautify them after death. And I mean, you just got I'm going to have to come and learn under you.
Thank you, Ms. Leah. That's all I can say. Thank you, Ms. Leah.
I'm just proud of you, young lady. I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate the encouragement, and I appreciate you all having me on today. It means a lot.
Thanks for being here, and the knowledge you shared is very important to the community. And we wish you Godspeed in all the other endeavors that you're involved in. And hopefully people will come through your class, because, well, it's one thing, it's the law now.
Correct.
Concealed weapon is the law. And another thing is just basic knowledge is always a key to, you know, just doing the right thing, period. I want to thank you and thank all the listeners are here on Facebook Live. And please join us.
Tell me, James, did it come through? It must have come through on your page now.
Yes, it did.
Praise be.
Yes, it did.
We're getting there.
It was there all the time. I just couldn't pull it up.
Okay.
Anyway, make sure you join us next week as we end the month of Women's History Month and recognizing our accomplishments of our women. And we're going to have someone on from the world of politics, which is going to be the vice chairman of the school board, Clue Atkinson. So she's going to come on and talk to us about that. And keep in mind, even though it won't be a Women's History Month all year, but we will be honoring women and men of the city of Portsmouth, of their accomplishments, people that unsung heroes, people that you don't hear about all the time, but they're doing some great things in our community. And that's our purpose.
James, let's encourage our listeners. If there's someone that you think that we need to recognize during that time, please send us the information so that we can recognize, because sometimes we may overlook some people. We talk about these unsung heroes. We have some people who are recognized all the time, but we have other people out here who are doing great things and they're never recognized, and they're not seeking recognition, but we need to honor them for the great works that they're doing.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. And
So
we
give
really
them
appreciate
the Facebook, their email again, so they can, if they have someone they'd like for us to honor.
it's the Hampton Roads 7 Cities Forum at yahoo.com. So you can email us there with people that you know that deserve recognition, and we'll
Yes.
make sure we'll get it on here. Or they might want to, we might have them as a guest. So,
Exactly.
Yes.
so thanks again, everybody, for my co-host for getting up early and being a part of this program today. And thank you again, Ms. Jones, for coming on.
You're welcome. You're more than welcome. Thank you all too.
Thank you so very
I
much.
think I'm gonna have to take that class so that clip won't fall out the bottom of my
Yes,
gown.
sir. Yes, sir. Please do.
Take care, everybody.
Okay, thank
All right. See you
you.
later.
Okay.
What's the word, Slim?
Oh,
Oh. Our voice.
our community,
In our future.
And our future.
Portsmouth
That's
Coffee Talk.
Portsmouth Coffee Talks motto.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Colonel. Thank
Yeah.
you
Thank you.
so much.
It's gonna take a year for us to get this thing.
We will, eventually we'll get it right.
Yes, yes, yes.
Write it down.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Welcome back, Colonel. Glad to
Yeah.
have you back.
Yes,
Thank you.
welcome home. Welcome home.
And
Yes.
we'll talk, Colonel. I have some things for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everybody. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye-bye.